There was a big house where a famous detective named John got a call to solve a terrible murder. He found out secrets and suspects while investigating. On a stormy night, strange things happened, but he figured out who the killer was and brought justice. Later, he received a mysterious letter inviting him to return to the house. He discovered a secret group there and fought against them to stop their evil plans. Detective John was brave and never gave up. He became a legend, defeating the bad guys and inspiring others. Once upon a time, there was a famous detective named John. He was well known for being really good at solving even the trickiest mysteries. One day, Detective John got a call that would change his life forever. He was told to go to a big house in the middle of nowhere, far away from other houses. When Detective John got to the house, he felt something strange in the air. The house was tall and scary looking, especially with the dark, stormy sky behind it. The snow was blowing around a lot because of a big snowstorm, which meant that everyone in the house was stuck there. Without wasting any time, Detective John went into the house, ready to find out what really happened. The house was dark, and the shadows on the walls made it even scarier. The wind was blowing so hard that the windows made creepy sounds, adding to the tense feeling in the house. When the detective met the people who might have done the murder, he noticed that they were all really nervous. There was the butler, the maid, the cook, and the gardener. Detective John thought that any of them could be guilty because they all seemed like they were hiding something and were scared. Determined to solve the murder quickly, Detective John started searching for any clues at the crime scene. The person who got murdered was a rich businessman, and his body was very badly hurt. It was hard to even tell what he looked like anymore. As Detective John dug deeper into the case, he started finding out that the murdered man had a lot of enemies. All of them had reasons to want to kill him. Things got even more confusing when the detective discovered secret passages and hidden rooms in the house. All of a sudden, the power went out, and the whole house was in complete darkness. The storm outside got worse, making everyone inside even more scared. Detective John's heart started beating faster when he heard someone screaming really loudly from one of the rooms upstairs. He didn't hesitate and quickly went toward the sound, following the light of a small candle. When he got to the room, he saw something really horrible. The maid was dead on the floor, and her eyes were wide open with fear. He didn't hesitate and quickly went toward the sound, following the light of a small candle. When he got to the room, he saw something really horrible. The maid was dead on the floor, and her eyes were wide open with fear. With every passing moment, things got even scarier. The sound of the clock ticking made everything even more tense. Detective John knew he had to act fast if he wanted to save the other people in the house from getting hurt too. He gathered everyone in the big hallway and pointed out the things that didn't make sense in their stories. Each person was looking really nervous and guilty. It was finally time for Detective John to say who he thought the killer was. Taking a step forward, Detective John dramatically said the name of the killer. Everyone in the room was shocked. The detective showed how they tricked everyone and why they did the terrible murder. As the snowstorm outside got weaker, things changed inside the house too. The people were happy that the truth came out, but they also felt really bad for what they had done. Everyone would remember this famous murder in the lonely house and how Detective John solved it. The investigation was finally finished, but Detective John couldn't forget the strange feeling that something was still wrong. When he said goodbye to the people and left the house, he wondered if the story was really over. Days and weeks went by, and Detective John started to forget about the lonely house. But one evening, while he was sitting in his study, a letter came in the mail. It was a mysterious letter with no name or address, and it had a very strange message written in fancy handwriting. "I know what you did." Detective John got really scared by the message. It seemed like the story of the lonely house wasn't finished yet. Feeling worried, Detective John went back to the house to face the mystery that followed him. As he walked into the house, it felt like an old and scary friend. The house was really cold, and as he went further in, he heard whispers and saw shadows. The house seemed alive again. Rooms that were once familiar had changed a lot. As he explored, Detective John found a secret underground room below the house. He discovered a hidden group who worshipped something dark, and they were connected to the first murder. This group wanted to do really bad things and hurt innocent people. Detective John accidentally found out about their plans, and that's why he got the strange letter. It was a warning that they would do anything to protect their secrets. As he kept going, Detective John exposed the evil plans of the group and put an end to their actions. The house shook as their defeat echoed through the walls. The evil in the lonely house was finally gone when the sun rose over the countryside. It brought warmth and made the darkness go away. Detective John left the house feeling scarred, but proud of what he had done. He didn't just solve the first murder, he also stopped a really bad group from causing harm. The lonely house, which used to be full of secrets and shadows, could finally relax. It held stories of pain and terror, but also stories of bravery and strength. Detective John's name became even more famous because of all the mysteries he unraveled at the haunted house. As he disappeared into the sunset, Detective John knew that his journey wasn't over. There would always be more scary things to face and more mysteries to solve. But with each challenge, he became smarter and braver, ready to face whatever darkness came his way. And so, the story of the famous detective and the lonely house became a legend told in whispers. It showed how important it is to never give up, to fight for justice, and to conquer the most evil things.